so much at one time. Okay, no problem. About a dog barking. I've had far worse happen. Okay, here we are. Now, what is going on here? Let's see if it's live on YouTube. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are. Hey, Facebook people, YouTube people, Instagram, social media. So glad you're here watching. This is another fabulous interview of somebody that I took a look at and said, I want to know his life story. And I want his story to be out there for other people to be encouraged by and that kind of stuff. That's what these interviews are for, as well as when you folks go to comedy. And if you're not a comedian, you go to comedy, you say, oh, let's go to comedy. And you pop in, you sit down, and you leave disappointed because you don't know who they are. You don't know what kind of humor they really have. What's their timing? Where'd they grow up? You don't know nothing about them really. You might be able to read it, but now you get a chance to hear it right from Kels DIxon, Kelsey DIxon, goes by both.
Yep.
You get to hear it right from his very own mouth. So you're going to get to see if you like him, see if you love him, see if you want to follow him, see if you want to go to his shows, buy his merchandise, go to his live tapings, that kind of stuff. Help his career. That's what that's the main point of these interviews, is to help other comedians. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you stay past his introduction. A lot of you come and you listen to the introduction and you bolt. You got to stop doing that. I didn't go to all this $10,000 worth of trouble for you to just come hear me do an intro and leave. Around, get to know the comics, okay? You're making me mad. You don't want to make an old white lady with blonde hair mad. I'll say the introduction right now for our today guest. I'm so delighted. I've seen him here in the Vegas comedy scene, and I think he's an up-and-coming talent, and you're going to love him. And if you don't, you need to go get a new shrink. That's what I got to say. Let me say the intro he wrote to me. He said, and I quote, well, I'm Kelsey DIxon. I'm a football coach for youth and for women's football team, for a women's football team. So that's it. See how humble he is? He's not one of them braggadocious, egotistical, narcissistic comics. He might become one, but he's not one yet. So give it up for Kels DIxon, aka Kelsey DIxon, Kels_DIxon on Instagram. Right now, give it up for him with a big, large applause in your living room with your pants off.
How y'all doing? Hi. How you doing today?
Hi, Kelsey.
Hello, how you doing today?
Fabulous. Thank you for coming on to the show. I'm so glad you're here. Tell people where you live and what you do with your football coaching.
I live in Franklin, Tennessee. Been here pretty much all my life, besides going to school in Oklahoma and stuff like that. I've been here for a long time. So
hold up. Correct the old lady. I could have swore you were in the Vegas scene. I met you in Nashville.
You met me in Nashville. So when you said it, I was like, I've never been there, but okay.
Sorry.
It's all right. But yeah, I'm from Franklin. I coach football, and also I'm a comedian. I've been volunteer doing it in my neighborhood. I played football there also as a kid. I came back around 24, but 23 before my kids was born. I came back just to get back to the community. Came as assistant coach. Now I'm a head coach, part of the board and everything else. So I've been doing it for a while, long time.
Wow.
Mhm.
So you take one look at me. Do you think that I care about football? What's your guess?
Hell no.
I am a huge football fan.
Oh, really? You are? Okay. Your favorite team?
What?
What's your favorite NFL team?
Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Dallas girl from the 60s.
Uh, well, yeah, that's why, because they haven't been good since the '90s. Maybe a little. But as a growing up fan, I grew up as a San Francisco fan, so we had beef. Um, with Titans wasn't here then. I'm a Titans fan now, but Titans wasn't here. I became a Titans fan when they got here in '99. Um, I went to their first game.
I'm a Marcus Mariota fan because he's
Oh,
from the state of Oregon.
yeah, he's decent. He's not the greatest, but he's all right. He's a good human. I like his
Yeah,
energy and his vibe. Yes, I do love
that's
that.
that's so important.
Mm-hmm. It's so more important than a lot of other stuff. But yeah, I grew up a San Francisco fan and became a Titans fan when I got here. Went to my first Titans game. I had a Jerry curl, and the Titan Stadium was heavy. The Titan Stadium was very hot. That's all I know. I mean, it's still hot now these days. It's because it is the same. It hasn't really changed much since '99, so it's still the same. But I know I had a Jerry curl, and I was sitting at the bottom of that stadium, and that sun was beaming on that curl, and the juices was dripping down. It was a bad situation that day. I'm just saying that. And we won. We beat the Rams. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we beat them by like 7 or something like that. Mm-hmm.
So my dad was a gambler, and I grew up with my dad. Let me show you what my dad did all the time. He was like this, talking to bookies all the time.
Facts. That's funny.
And I'd sit with him on the couch and watch football games. And then in college, I went out to powder puff football, and I dated the coach.
Oh,
and
well.
and I have to tell you, my brother-in-law at University of Oregon, he's on the Wall of Fame for football and basketball. I'm a huge sports nut.
Oh yeah. Well, where I'm from, we have a a lot of people that's made it to the pro level. 3 or 4 of us, my cousins. I got one that's right now playing for the Bills. Uh, he plays. His name's Tyrell, and he plays middle linebacker for the Bills. He's starting right now. We train a lot of kids and a lot of guys that make it out there. It's pretty cool to Austin to watch. You know, I'm friends with Albert Haynes. Where I know a lot of people in the industry of football. So I've been doing it for a very long time, and I started coaching women's football this year for the first time, and I'm very amazed on how good they can be and are, and the level of football they are playing. Is pretty good. It's not the greatest, of course, but it's really good. It's pretty freaking good. You know, just to watch them and do the things and they're learning. And I was learning just like they was this year because I've never coached women until then. So, and it was a learning curve. I had to slow it down some. I had to do this some. I had to figure it out. Like it was pretty much a lot of learning this year. But we had fun. We had a great. We had a pretty decent. We had a okay growing season. Just put it that way. It was a lot of first year players on our team.
Like, let's say you have a woman's football. I can see a lot of comedy material coming out of this.
Yes. It's been they're funny. Just put it that way. They're hilarious. It's kind of hard to distinct. Like some of the girls are so good that you automatically mistake them as a man because you don't. They're that good. We played as a team for Virginia this year, and this girl was probably throwing it 50 yards flat footed, throwing post routes on the rope. And now we all kind of knew how the game was going to go once we started seeing her throw the ball at warm ups. It was like, this is going to be a long game for us, guys. So, but it was really amazing to watch them play. And they're not obviously that big because they're obviously women, but they are big. It's some big girls on their team, but they play hard, and they really want to learn, and they really want to do it. Shout out to Nashville Misfits. They're my people. Shout out to them because we still looking for participants. So if you catch it, you want to come out and play some football for women's. We have ages from 18 to 43 years old. I think the oldest lady on our team is 43. She has 7 kids. She won the all MVP this year as a running back, and she played quarterback too mostly. But she had about 400 some yards rushing, almost 500 some yards rushing in 6 games. Pretty good, and running the team pretty much as a quarterback. So she after 7 kids. So I really appraise her, and she never come back complain. Never just, you can't tell if she's hurt. I'm like, are you hurt? And she's like, no. And I'm like, yes, you are. You're talking too fast. So I can tell kind of because I've been around her. But because some women are very tough and they don't want to show that emotional to some people, so they kind of hold back a little bit. They're tougher than you think they are. I had to learn that this year too. But we have some Vanderbilt workers, we have some teachers, school teachers, principals, all kind of different people that does different things that they're just learning how to play football, and they really want to do it. So it was a pretty fun experience this year. I'm really looking forward to next year doing it.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you for doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
What made you go into that?
Well, I've been coaching for so long, and one of the guys, Don, his wife, she's the owner of the team, Donita, and she asked me if I wanted to come coach. I was just coming to be a position coach, and then maybe about a practice in, he was like, "You're very good with the girls already. Would you want to run the offense this year?" And I was like, "Why not?" Like, sure. And I was showing up to practice pretty late, or a little bit 20 minutes late, 15 minutes late. And because I wasn't super focused in taking it serious. And plus also I was still coaching youth football. I pretty much coach year round. I don't stop coaching. This is probably the only break I have. And it's about 2 weeks. I coach pretty much 11 months of the year. All year long, I do youth summer ball, and then I turn around and do travel football. And me used to playing football, so I'm kind of used to doing all that. It's just a lot of coaching, but it's all giving back. I don't get paid for it, and I like that part where I don't. Yes, I would love to get paid to do what I do, and I love because I sit up all night long doing stuff. But at the same time, it's about giving back and helping up the community and help make sure these kids are to get it together, and that's what I like about it more. I've had offers to middle school. I've had offers to high school, middle school, and I've turned them down because I want to make sure it's genuine when I'm coaching.
So, I love you. I love you. That's so amazing. Mm-hmm. I love it when people have pure motives. Mm-hmm. That's so special. What makes you have pure motives? Who raised you? Who raised you? How did you grow up to be so wonderful like that?
So growing up, it was okay. And so I'll turn about 12 or so like that. And I went through, my parents got divorced. So I watched all that stuff go down. And as growing up and you watching things go down, and your dad's always been in your life, and then he just kind of vanished. And then your mom is not really caring no more. It was a lot. I took a lot, went to a lot of I went to state custody. I've been in the system. I think I went to juvenile a lot of times when I was younger. And now the way I am now, people see me now, I'm like, man, I can't believe you even made it out to where you at, because you went through so much as a kid. You didn't have a lot of opportunities to understand a lot of things. You didn't have a lot of opportunities to get to know things. So you was in custody and state custody, and I was in foster homes, and I was adopted. And then eventually my grandmother adopted me, which is my granny, my favorite person in the world. She adopted me when
was she a real grandma at birth?
Yes, she was there the whole time. She's been there all my life. Since day one, pretty much. I live in the city, Franklin area. My kids are here, but when I get to as a kid growing up, instead of me being in the streets and hanging out with all the guys in the streets and doing all the crazy stuff, I got sent to the country. Soon as school was over, the day of, I got sent to the country. Get woke. So I was still getting up at 5:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, herding cows and goats and chickens and horses and bush hogging and doing really country stuff and like being boots and getting bit by chick. I mean, bell hay and I mean, shooting fireworks and shooting guns. I mean, I had a real lot of country instilled stuff in me. And going doing cow barns and getting on the bull. And I mean, I did a lot of stuff. And I didn't get to do all that stuff what my friends got to do. So a lot of people didn't know that, and they still don't know. So when I bring them out there and they're like, what is it? I was like, yes, this is the everyday. And that hard work and that dedication, I got it from that side of going out there every year, every summer. And then eventually I lived out there for 3 years with my grandmother. So before I left the nest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of growing up, how many brothers and sisters, and when did you start becoming funny? And how?
It's crazy because as a kid, at the Boys and Girls Club, this guy, I can't ever remember his name. I don't know why I can't remember his name at this moment, but he used to call me Sinbad, and I used to hate it. So I used to be like, I don't look like Sinbad, and everybody's like, yes, you are. You're just funny. You're for years. So when people still see me to this day in my hometown, like certain people that knows me, they're like, what up, Sinbad? They still call me Sinbad. I don't get it. And it never dawned upon me until a couple years ago, like when I really kind of pushed into comedy. But it never dawned upon me until that time. So like a lot of people used to call me that. So that's when I've always been a class clown, always been goofy, I always been in the cameras. I wanted to be in the cameras as a kid. I got videos of me in the camera all the time. Like my mom's had a camera and I'm just in the camera, like goofing off. And I've always been goofy and I've always been that class clown kind of guy. I just didn't know how to get into comedy and I didn't know the path I really wanted to be at until I was almost 29. So it took a long time for me to say, oh, I need to figure out if I want to do this or not. And people keep telling me I need to. So let's just put my foot in the water and go. And that's how, and Black people don't like to put their foot in a lot of water. So it scared me. I'm not gonna lie.
Know that.
Yeah. We scared of water, they say. Yeah.
So who guided you and how is it that you figured out the path for you in comedy?
This guy named Brad one of my guys from Franklin. I didn't go to school with him, but my little brother did. I coached his nephews in football, his younger nephews. So I seen him he had made a post that he was at Zany's in Nashville he was doing comedy. I was like, man, how did he get in comedy? I know I could be funny as him. I know I can. Like, I know I could be as funny as him. Everybody says I am. So how did he get into this situation? I saw the person he tagged. His shout out to Brad Sativa. I saw what he could do. I inboxed Brad. I was like, hey man, can I do you have any shows or what do you have? Like, I really want to get into comedy. He was like, well, great news that I have a show coming up in your hometown in 2 weeks. You can come on for a 5-minute guest spot. It's a regular show. So I had wrote a joke for 5 minutes. I had Renard, a couple good guys that's had their own shows already now. They have their own special. A couple guys was on BET that's now is on BET. His name is Renard Hershey. He was on that show. Another guy named Jay Flake, he was there. Brad, it was a couple other guys there, but those guys are kind of noticeable. And they basically kind of put me into the game of it.
That's fabulous. So I went to Nashville and I was on a show at Lipstick Lounge. The night before I went to try my material at your mic.
Right.
And the bar was full, mostly of comics. Am I right?
Yes, pretty. I think we only had 20 comedians that night. So it was 20 comedians, and I was more fans there than comedians. Surprisingly, a lot of times there's a lot of comedians there, but that night it was a pretty good amount of crowd there that wanted to be there. Like a good night. You came on a great night, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and my material didn't fly all that well. and I sat and tried to figure out what it was. And I think when I watched the video, I was too busy and concerned if my material was going to go over with this crowd rather than just knocking it out of the park.
Knocking out of the park, yep. And that's how it
Yeah.
usually works in comedy. And it's, as I always tell people, you cannot bomb. I don't feel like you can bomb at an open mic because you're also working on stuff. Me been doing it and running my own shows since last year. Having my own buildings and doing my own stuff, I kind of realized that I didn't have to always pop at somebody's open mic because I do like 4 open mics already, run my own shows and stuff. It's kind of hard. Like I can write myself. But I still kind of pop in there every now and then in some open mic shows just because I want to work on new crowd, new something. Nashville scene has jumped a lot since pretty much after the pandemic. It kind of went a little crazy because during pandemic we didn't have nothing before it. Shows here and there, 3 or 4 shows a week or type of stuff. But now we have 3 or 4 shows a night on different times.
Wow.
There's a lot of stuff goes on during the week, during the weekend. It's pretty. Nashville has a lot of jumped up. I think Theo Vaughn lives here now. Nate Bargatze lives. I mean, we have a lot of guys that moved here from different places.
Fabulous. So cool. So when you've been doing comedy, have there been some huge talent that you got to do comedy with?
Yes, I got to do comedy with one of the guys from Wildin' Out, Cortez. Cortez. I can't remember his Macklin, I think his last name, but he's on Wildin' Out he's been on probably about 14 seasons of Wildin' Out. We did a couple shows off in Alabama, not Alabama, Atlanta, out there in Atlanta area. Was on tour with him or something, but he's on tour with somebody else right now, so we kind of halt the tour down right now. I did a movie down there with him and stuff like that. Like for November's last year's, we went down there and did something. But I've done that, and I opened up. Well, Dusty Slay, he's supposed to. I'm pretty sure you know who he is.
I had him confused with Dwight Slade. Never mind.
No, Dusty Slay's from. I think he's from North Carolina, but he's been on Jimmy Kimmel Live and stuff like that. But he got sick one time. He got sick and he had to have surgery. So me and his best friend, which is Evan Burke, he just got the #1 podcast. #1 album recorded. Just went past what his name is, Rife, Mike, whatever his name is, the
Matt
Rife guy.
Rife.
Yeah, Matt Rife. He just went past him today. Thank God. Yeah, like we all clap for him. Yeah, cool. And I went down there. He asked me. He seen me perform one time. And he was like, "Listen, my friend is not gonna make the show. Can you be my feature? Because I'm opening up for his show in where his hometown was." And I was like, "Well, it was in Auburn, Alabama." And I opened up for him out there for Dusty because he was sick. Never got to meet the guy, but he seems like a pretty cool dude. I've seen a lot of guys, but I ain't met him yet.
Yeah.
He's just got his face on Zany's. I think they painted his mural on Zany's like last year sometime.
So cool. Yeah. Well, I gotta say, I was with a group of gals at your mic, and I gotta say, you are a fantastic host.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Fantastically funny. You keep the show moving. You keep us laughing. You keep it positive. Mm-hmm. Everything. You're fantastic.
Yeah, I hear it all. I know I host a lot. So between the bar that we run an open mic at, it used to be run by another guy, and when they stopped doing it, I took over. Well, when I took over, and it's hilarious because I took over a Black History Month, the first day of Black History Month, and it's a bar. So we're talking about Nashville, so it's like a little dive bar, a little country bar. So I have this big poster. I'm the first Black man. I was like, he's never had a Black guy work for him. I don't think, like maybe 1 or 2, maybe. He's been open for 15, 16 years. And he has this huge, and I have this huge poster in the building. It's huge, right?
I got my picture in front of it.
Right, you got your picture in front of it. It's a big poster of me on the wall, and like all the Black comedians, like, how did you do it? And I'm like, I guess just being me. I don't know. I guess being Kelsey, being white. I don't know what the hell you mean. I don't get it. So people used to laugh about it. So it was a good thing to start that mic. And I first started off, and it was like last year in February, and I had maybe 4 or 5 people show up, and that was all Black comedians. And that was pretty much before that. Their whole room was white room. Their whole room was like it was. I was like one of the only Black people that showed up over there, and nobody showed up when I first started the show. Uh, for about 3 weeks or so, nobody really showed up, and then eventually started pulling and started getting people because people were like spreading lies about me, saying that I was like taking 20 minutes up here, 20 minutes off the top of my head, 20 minutes down here, and it wasn't true at all. Um, and then when they realized it, they're like, "Man, this is a great room. This is a great like a mic for a Thursday is a pretty good mic." So we're gonna start coming back. So I'm pretty much getting like 20 to 30 comedians a night every Thursday there. I think last night we had 26 in a band, so it was a metal band there too. So they stayed and watched the show too. Instead of leaving, they stayed and watched the whole show.
Oh,
So
then
it's
you
pretty
know
cool.
you're killing when that happens.
Yeah, and
Oh,
they came back. They came from California, so it was like we were gonna stay and watch this. So it was
oh,
pretty good turnout.
that's fabulous. I'm coming back again in November on the 29th, so I'll come to your mic right before.
Yes, ma'am. What we waiting out there?
Tell people what night of the week and what time your mic is, location.
Okay, so my mic is on a Thursday night. It usually starts about 8:35, 8:40 because we had to push the time back from some other shows. I want all the comedians to come to my show, so I want to push the time back if I need to if other shows have popped on. So around that time at Twin Cakes at 327 Hermitage Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. Um, we have fun. We cut up in there. It's pretty no holds barred in there. Like anything can pretty much go. I have never shut anything down or anybody what they say. I want everybody to feel comfortable, loved in there. I want everybody, if you're gay, straight, you got dinosaur legs, you got dinosaur arms, something going on with your body. I want you to feel comfortable. If you got big, anything, I want you to just feel comfortable in the building. And that's why we try to give out to people. Yeah, just little short arms and stuff. Just they come in like this. I mean, what am I gonna do about it? Like I can't help them out. So we have an amazing time, and I love doing comedy. It's one of my favorite things. It was like a blessing in disguise to do it. Coaching in comedy is probably my calling, and I've kind of figured that out after so long. It's like a thing that I know something I do got. I still get nervous. I mean, I've been doing it 4 years now, and I still get nervous getting on stage, regardless of what I'm doing. But once I get there and once that mic touches my hand, it feels like it's just free and I can just have fun. So it's just that moment of getting there. It's like if you're not nervous doing the job still, then you need to be out of that job. And that's how I look at it. Like if I'm not nervous getting on that stage, I don't need to do it no more. It's too easy.
Yeah. I have a brain injury and I don't feel hunger. I don't feel nervous. So I can't gauge that.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'll do I know I need to do practical things, but the minute I get off stage, something goes through then the adrenaline hits. I'm so weird with the brain injury. I'm like,
Mhm.
la la la, and I'm like, how did I do?
Right. Yeah. It's been a journey, it's been a journey and grinding every night. And I mean, I don't have comedy here in Franklin. I mean, I have my own building here in Franklin, Native Notion. I run a show here every every 3 weeks on a Friday or Saturday, just depends on what the times is. But every 3 weeks here, and we do a comedy show here, and I'm the local comedian here. We don't have too many here. It's about 2 or 3 of us technically. Um, so we are trying to bring that bridge here in Franklin because this is a small knit town. We live on the battleground of Franklin. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That's a Civil War. I live really right on top of everything. Of all the Civil War stuff happens here. So it's a very small community and tight knit. So I'm trying to bring it here, and that's the hardest thing is getting somebody to get here. And it took about 3 years to get a building that somebody would like trust me and say, yeah, we can do this here. Um, and I also run a show in Columbia, Tennessee, once a month on the first Thursday of every month. And I run a show at a little bar called Rebel Bar. And it's really hilarious because, as we know, rebels are the rebel flags and all that. It's kind of like the racist thing of the world, right? In America, especially in the South, dirty South, right? And when a guy asked me to run the show, he's from California. He came start running the show, and then he couldn't do it no more. I said, "Well, I'll take over the show." I'm kind of close to Columbia. I'm about 30 minutes outside of Columbia. So when I took the show, I didn't think about it. I just seen Rebel Bar. I thought it was just the name. I walk in the building, normal. It was like a bunch of country white guys, normal little country bar. And I was like, okay, this is something normal. And one of the comedians stopped me and was like, Kelsey, you see that? One of the black comedians like, Kelsey, you see that rebel flag on the ceiling? And I was like, no, who just looks at ceilings when they walk in the building? No, I didn't see a rebel flag on the building. I go up there and there's a huge rebel flag. But they've been so cool and been so welcoming and wanting me to run the show and asking me every week, or which person's coming up this time. And I can't do nothing about it. Like it's a show, and that's what I'm going to bring, a show. We're going to have fun doing it. But running those shows has been, doing different parts of the world and different parts of people helps you out in your comedy. You don't see the same people over and over again, over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would you like to say to people who come to comedy in this post-pandemic, woke environment with a lot of people being all judgy and picking sides and politically correct? What would you like to say to people that are listening to this later on when they come on? What would you like to say to them about coming to comedy, whether it's down in Tennessee or out in California or New York? What would you like to say to them?
Be yourself. Be yourself. So this is how I personally look at it. I think a lot of people do look at it. I'd rather you be yourself and be somebody that I might not like or do like, than be somebody I won't like at all. Because you might change up to something else that I don't want to see. I want you to be 100% genuine yourself. I don't want you to be somebody else. So if you're coming to Nashville, you're going to New York, and I've been to New York. I've done comedy in New York, and I've done comedy in Florida. Just be yourself. People will love you for who you are. If they don't love you for who you are, you don't need to talk to them anyway. They don't need to be in your realm of life. You take all that negative energy and you throw that away. And that's pretty much it. Like, be yourself, because people are all different. And if you don't accept that, you would never accept anything else in life, because people are all different.
Oh, I love
White,
that.
black, green, purple, yellow, pink. I never seen a pink person. I've seen a purple person, but I ain't never seen a pink person. But it's just, everyone's just so different, and like all the stuff that people do in these days is, it's crazy. They have to stop watching the news. The news is it's not reflecting the world. It's not reflecting the person in front of you. It's telling you to be a certain way, but you're not that certain way. And it sucks, because I live in this South. I got family from Pulaski, Tennessee, which is where KKK started. And I've heard all the stories, and I've been around this stuff, and I went from an all black school pretty much into an all white school, and only like 7 black people there, and graduating with them. And like, you dealing with it. It's no difference between nobody. It's literally country people and ghetto people, hood people have the same knowledge. It's just dumb ways. They do it both ways, and they do it dumb. So I've been around both of them. It's no difference. It's just the person who you are. The energy. I only match energy with other people. They want to match good energy.
Love that. I loved having you at the mic. You'd come up and you'd say something to me, and I had so much fun trying to make you laugh.
Yeah, you're funny. Because you asked me a question, and you stopped me. You stopped me early because it was another black guy that walked in that had dreads, and he don't look alike at all. But it was just funny because you was like, the other black guy. I was like, yeah. What about him? He's like, I thought that was you, and I died laughing because I walked past him. And he said, And then dude, I didn't know the dude, and he was like, "You know that white old lady?" She thought that was me and you. I died laughing. I was like, "What?" I said, "That's normal. It's not three. It's like five of us in here. No, it's like I think it was only two black guys in there that night, not even really three maybe. And it was only two with dreads, me and the dude. So I kind of get why you got them confused if you're not really paying attention. But it was hilarious. You imagine what I see every night because I walk around like, wait a minute, are you? I don't. I'm confused. Which one? Oh, okay. Like I get it. And people don't understand that. Like it's things that's obvious in the world that you notice, and people take such things so offended for no reason. It's like, come on now. Like I'm a server on this. My side jobs are like server. I'm a server, serve tables. I went from doing security to serving tables. And yes, I look like security. Okay, I do. I'm 6'1", 250. I look like a security dude. Um, but I also serve tables in Franklin, and majority of my customers are older white people, right? Um, and they always mess with me by my name because that generation doesn't get it. Sometimes they don't get the things. I've had a guy stop me and tell me if I was he was like, what's your name? Because he wasn't listening. He was looking down at the paper in his book, and I was like, hey, my name is Kelsey. May I take your order? Just normal. And would you like some drink? And he was like, what? And he looked up and he was like, your name ain't no damn Kelsey. And he started talking country. It was hilarious. And then he said, are you one of the things that's changing over? Because they don't understand. And I was like, no, sir. I just got boobs. That's it. I just got titties. I mean, I can't do nothing else about it for you. I can't help you right there, buddy. And that's all he could do. And he just dies laughing. I'm like, I'm a man with balls. That's it. I'm nothing else. But you got to explain to people like that sometimes here in Franklin because they don't get it and they don't understand. And I rather explain to them than be upset at them or be mad at them. I rather explain than be upset and be mad. So I've learned how to shun away all that stuff working in these little odd jobs and trying to make ends meet with the because it helps with my comedy. I can get out and I can still coach football and I can still do comedy every night because I drive about 45 minutes every night to Nashville.
That's crazy.
45 minutes every night to Nashville and back. On top of working all day. So I work a full-time job already, and I also have my kids that live with me full-time. I have two kids, and they live full-time.
What
And
ages?
both my kids are 10 and 8, boy and girl. They both play 3 different sports apiece. My daughter plays softball, basketball, and she's done with cheerleading this year, so she wants to do flag football this year. And my son plays football and soccer and about to play basketball this year. But I'm super busy. I don't coach my kids in those sports. This would be the first year I get to coach my son because he begged me to. But usually I coach other kids because I don't want that moment where you're playing favoritism with your son. My son's been playing, my son or my daughter is like you. My son's been playing football since he was 5. But he's been playing in older brackets. So he's been 6. He was playing with 9, 8-year-olds. When he was 7, he was playing baseball with 9-year-olds. And this year he get to play finally in his age. I'm going to make him stay down instead of going up with his other team. So he can get to have fun this year and not feel like he has to do everything, but he can do everything. He's a bigger kid. He's tall. He's fast. So it's going to be a fun year this year. I get to coach him for the first time. So I'm kind of excited. But I do whatever the program wants me to do. So regardless if they say, like last year I was supposed to coach him and 2 weeks before camp, I got called and said, hey, you need to go coach 12-year-olds. We need help up there. So I kind of go wherever the program is. I've never stayed in the same division more than a year. So I've coached 5, 6-year-olds, 7, 8-year-olds. I go from 5 and 6-year-olds 2 years ago to 11, 12-year-olds last year. So it's a big jump in coaching. We go 5 and 6 to 11, 12, and then turn around and go back to 7 and 8-year-olds. And I was at 9, 10 at one point. Then I was back at 11, 12. Like I go through different ages to help. So whatever they need help at, I'm there. All the kids usually at my house. So I have a lot of kids sometimes here.
Fabulous. Well, when I come back there, I guess it's September 29th. I said November. It's September 29th. I'll be coming to your mic. And if the word doesn't spread through the bar that I'm the old lady that got you confused with somebody else that didn't look like you, I might have a better set, especially if I'm not too worried if I'm going to have a
Yeah.
good set.
Yeah. We'll get you in there some shows. I might have a show that Thursday. It might be at that bar. It might be somewhere. So you never know. If you're there that week, we'll put you on some shows. I'll get some shows popping that week or whatever we can have happen. Y'all ladies was funny. It was just surprising when I pulled in and I seen the ladies. I was like, we got okay. Well, I don't know what's going on today. What's happening today? What's
The
happening?
Golden Girls are back.
Yeah, Golden Girls are here. It's like four of them. What's happening? What's happening? But then I realized who she was with, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I know her. Yeah. Heather. There's Heather, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Heather Lerman.
Yes. So she's been wonderful since she's moved here. She came from, if I'm not mistaken, New York or New Jersey.
She came from Long Island, New York.
Long Island, up there, right? So in New Jersey, New York is I like going different places doing comedy, and that was pretty fun. It was some weird stuff I saw up there. I didn't see a fat person in New York the whole week I was there. I was pretty upset at myself. I felt like I was the fattest person out there, and everybody was skinny. Saw a pigeon on the leash.
To eat. They
can't afford to. No, everything was smaller. Like the hotel was like so small. Like I was sitting on the toilet and I felt like an elf. I felt like the movie Elf. I feel like him on the toilet. That's how I felt. I was like, this is not cool at all. This is not how you live here. And the food was a little different. I also saw a pigeon on a leash. That was different.
That sounds like some white ass shit.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I saw the pigeon on leash, and I was like, "What is happening out here?" I've had some crazy trips where I just see weird stuff, and I got robbed when I was in Gatlinburg. I don't know if you've been to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's a lot of mountains and stuff, and a lot of people go up there for trips and stuff. And I was up there in Gatlinburg, and I come out our cabin, and I had a Mustang at that point in time, and I was like, man, somebody broke in my car on the top of the mountain, and like I yelled back in the house. I was like, guess what? Black people are still climbing. They climb mountains now and stealing shit out of cars, and everyone laughs. And I was like, no, I mean for real, like this is serious. It was like, no, for real. Like our car doors were wide open. I didn't go to the car door in a moment, but by the time I got to the car door, I saw both doors open. My gear shift was out of the gear. It was in neutral. Thank God, move. I had paw prints in it. And I was like, what did you jump? Was it Bigfoot that jumped in my car? What happened? And then I had a bag of hot Cheetos in the car. For some reason, Black people just keep food in their car, and hot Cheetos is one of them. I do. If anybody else don't, I do. I had a bag of hot Cheetos, and my hot Cheetos was sitting on the side of my car, outside of the car, just relaxing. Yeah, it wasn't. The bag was open. It was cut down perfectly down the side. It was nothing in the bag of Cheetos. I didn't even open the bag of Cheetos. So I was really mad because I had to go all the way down the mountain to get some more food. So I was like, what just robbed me? Did a bear just rob us? And I said, that has to be a Negro bear that robbed us. And everyone laughed. And I was like, no, I'm freaking serious. I'm freaking serious. There's got to be a bear in here that robbed us. And then you hear him down the mountain like, like, I was like, them Cheetos got to your head. You should have got some water before. And it's like the things I go through when traveling. That's why I'm scared. I want to go to California, and I also want to go to Vegas. Or I want to go to Texas. I want to go to Kill Tony. Yeah. That's my kind of next trip. I want to do Kill Tony, which he's very popular on YouTube, and he has like 1 minute jokes or whatever. We got to do 1 minute joke type of stuff. I really want to do it. So it's my next plan is go there. I think I'm going to Florida sometime soon.
Come to Vegas. I'll tell you the names of all the bookers.
Bookers, yeah. I'm supposed to be, and now I keep getting invited to Vegas, so I might just pull in Vegas. It's like the fourth invitation to Vegas. So
you come to Vegas, you better tell me ahead of time so I'm not on the road.
Yes, ma'am. I will. I definitely want to go to Vegas, and I want to do Kill Tony in California. But having kids and stuff like that, I have to always reconsider a lot of stuff, and I have to kind of slow it down. Like if I didn't have kids before all this, oh yeah, I would have been out of here by now. But I have kids now, and I have to worry about their well-being and make sure they're okay, make sure they're safe, make sure they are doing what they're supposed to do, because they're straight A students. They have all the help. I pay for all the extra help I can get for them. They make perfect grades. They don't get in trouble in school. I walk in the classroom or walk in school and they say, your kids are just perfect. I don't understand. You're one of the best kids. And I'm like, well, it's just about the respect part. I grew up in a certain era where it's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. But have fun. And I tell my son is just as goofy as I am. And he's hilarious and he's funny, like for real. So he said, Dad, I want to do comedy.
You know how you're a coach for football? Well, my daughter in 1991 to 1995, we were living in a predominantly Black area of Seattle. And so she went to a Black high school and I became the track scout. So all the kids in school called me mom because I literally got them into track. And then they would get coached, and I'd go to all their track meets and afterwards they'd come up to me and hug me. And even to this day, when any of them see me, they still call me mom.
Yeah. And it's such a good feeling to have kids that you've coached before, been around for so long, and they still come and see you at the football field, or they want to be like, I want to be their mentor for their coaching, and they want to start coaching now. And like to watch that happen over the years and see kids you were coaching. Now I got kids at junior in high school. That's how long I've been coaching. They're juniors now. And I got sophomores and freshmen now. I'm starting out with a whole new group of kids. So when you watch those guys and change and want to be helped and come here, it's a gratitude. Like I might have could not gave you the wins you wanted or the championship you wanted, but you understood the game of football. You knew how to play the game. I always say it's a team sport. So not only one person's got to be, everybody's got to do their job and their thing. So 2 or 3 people is off from their job, even the head coach or whoever it is. You might not have a good season. It's not a quarterback job or not the running back job. It's everyone's job. Everyone's job to win the championship is everyone's job. So from front to the top, I said front to the top, meaning from the top to the bottom, it's everyone's job. That's funny that you was a track coach. It's funny because I went from a one school that was all Black and everybody was fast. And then I went to like the white school in Page High. So I graduated from, and they went to 2 championships. They didn't win 2 championships, but they went to 2 state finals last year and this year. And when I was there, we was like 3-7. We didn't do too well. We had a bunch of freshmen and sophomores playing. So our quarterback was a sophomore freshman, but they was like all the way, and they was slow. And I was like one of the fastest kids, and I was like 285, 290, and that was like that's slow. And I think I was running like 4.8.
The kids in the school was Renton High School in Seattle, and they didn't know that if they were in football and they ran track would actually help them with football. Mm-hmm. So that was easy to get kids that were in football to do track.
Mm-hmm. It was that I think soccer helps with a lot of footwork. Little stuff like it. I think my son played flag football this year. I asked him, did he learn anything? Because I coached him this year in flag football. And he was like, no, this doesn't translate into regular football. It really doesn't. As much as parents want to say it does, I've been around football for a long time. It doesn't really translate just the way the game is played. But they had fun. And that's all my son wanted to do. I just wanted to be, instead of being in the house and being on his PlayStation or Xbox or wherever he's going to play, I'd rather have been outside with his friends and his teammates playing football somewhere and practicing. So
I need to get running, and you've been a delight. I love you in person. I love you as a human. I love that you're into football coaching. I love that you're a plugged in father. I love everything about you, and God bless your career and your life and your kids. And please let me know when you come to Vegas, and I'll let you know when I'm coming to Nashville.
Yes, ma'am. I will. Appreciate it, everything. God bless you. Merry Christmas. You know why I say Merry Christmas. You know, it's my thing. So I tell everybody white Merry Christmas because it's funny. All right. Makes them feel comfortable. I work in a different area in life. So I'll be like, Merry Christmas. I don't look so threatening when I say Merry Christmas to somebody. So it's my thing.
It's so funny. My dad, he survived the Holocaust. Mm-hmm. and people would say, Merry Christmas, Mr. Marcus. And he would say, I'm Jewish.
Oh, that's even funnier when I do it. I'm like, oh, my bad. Sorry. Happy Easter. I don't know what to say to you. Like, I'm trying to be nice right now. I don't know. But it's funny. But I also have if people can follow me on Instagram, it's comedian Kels, comedian_KELS. TikTok is the same way. I do a lot of TikToks too sometimes. And my Facebook is Kels DIxon, my white girl name, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why I got that name, but yeah, it works perfectly now, which I hated growing up, but I do love it now.
So when is your next couple shows that you're booked on?
My next show is June the 26th at the Dive Motel in Nashville. It's a pretty good, nice show. And then I have another show, the first. I'm featuring for this guy named Matt the Welder. They're from Florida. They're on a tour right now, Matt the Welder and Average Joey, my bad. They're from Florida. He just did the Average Joey just did special. He got like 20,000 views on his YouTube, but he's pretty funny. I haven't met him yet, but I met Matt before because I've done a show out there in Florida before. So I know who he is. But he's out having one in Murfreesboro the 1st of July. And that's my next couple of shows right there, 1st of July. And then I have my show the 24th here in Franklin and the 6th in July in Columbia.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much. And this will be up on my YouTube and I'll share it and you can reshare it. And I have had a blast being with you, both at your mic that I went to and here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You have a good day. Merry Christmas.